If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
It's high noon up and down the Wasatch Front, and Scotty and the coach are just getting started.
Is Wemby going to be the MVP next year and start a run for a while?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up being the best defensive player we've ever seen. Once his offense catches up, he's obviously great offensively, but I think that there's still things that you can do to game plan against him from the defensive side of the ball. Once you can't do that anymore, it's going to be him and LeBron at the top, and Michael Jordan's going to be third.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, LeBron's number one.
Oh, no,
Sorry, guys.
no.
I'm just going to keep it civil. I love you, man. I do. I really do. And everybody's entitled to whatever they feel.
Even if it's wrong?
LeBron's number one, and it's not close.
This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard and the coach, Tim LaComb. You hear us every day from 10 to 2 right here on the Zone. And joining us now, he is the new head coach of Arizona State, Randy Bennett, kind enough to join us. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Scott. How you doing?
Good.
Coach, what's up, my guy?
Oh, what's up, Tim? Good to be on the show. Excited about it.
Oh, so good. Hey, and I'm glad you're feeling better. And you had your introductory press conference yesterday at Arizona State. I'm just curious your thoughts having taken the job and assembled a staff and kind of started down that path.
Yeah, so it's I've been St. Mary's for 25 years, so it's a change of pace and only the second school that I've really been head coach yet. So it's there's some new things, but I'm excited about the challenge. I mean, you're going in the Big 12. It's a really tough league and really good coaches. So I'm excited about that. Excited about getting back home. And I've always thought Arizona State was a really good job in all sports, but in men's basketball especially. So it'll like I said, it's a good challenge. I was kind of ready for a new challenge.
Does the state of kind of college basketball and the leagues and everything else, did that make it a little easier for you to make the move just because it's become so fractured and there's not a lot out there for the little guy anymore, it seems?
No, that's a great question. And, it wasn't the main factor, but it was on my mind that I just didn't want to get stuck in a league. I mean, we've had a lot of success. Gonzaga left the WCC, so that's a factor. That's a factor on the strength of the WCC, and which eventually is a factor in whether you can get in the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid, which we have done a lot of times. BYU used to be in the league, and that really helped us. And we can get 3 teams in the league in the tournament because we were getting quad 1 games in our league, and we obviously played tough strength of schedule in non-conference. But it wasn't the reason I made the move. The reason I made the move is I loved St. Mary's and loved being there and was happy there. And I probably wouldn't have ever left there except for Arizona State. And that's the reason I did it, is that challenge and wanting to coach at Arizona State. But would be my dream job being from here. And I just always thought I'd get back here, but it didn't happen, and then it finally happened.
You kept winning too much. That was a you problem. You kept winning too much there.
Yeah.
Coach, you just couldn't get away from playing BYU in the Marriott Center. You just had to find a way to get back there, correct?
It's unbelievable. That last game up there, I was like, thank goodness, I'm done with this place.
Funny how the world works.
Here we go again.
But this league,
too funny.
This league is widely considered the best basketball conference in the country, and year in and year out, they're right there at the top when you look at the analytics. I mean, this is the cream of the crop when it comes to basketball. You looking for a new challenge? This is a big one. What do you see out of this league?
No questions. I mean, I don't know which one's the best. They're all three the best, in my opinion, as far as best basketball conferences in the country. I know this. I don't know if there's a conference that has tougher places to play on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go down to Arizona. I've been to BYU. I know what that feels like.
You ever been to Iowa State, Coach? That's a beast.
Exactly. And I think the toughest place I've ever been to play in is Kansas. And so you got all those, and Texas Tech's got it rolling. Baylor's got it rolling. Cincinnati has a great crowd. So, and I'm missing some, but there are some great basketball atmospheres and venues in this league. There's really good coaching. And that was the challenge me and our staff kind of wanted to take on. And for me, if it wasn't going to happen now, it wasn't going to happen. So I'm excited.
You've got your roster you started to put together. I don't know the rules, so if you can't talk about certain guys, I get it. But just generally, I used to know the rules, but I don't anymore. That's a me thing. But
second part, you got to follow them, Tim.
Yeah. Hey, come on, man. You and I were about as good a law-abiding citizens as there's been. We didn't cause much problem. But how do you feel about your roster and what you've been able to do since you got there, and your staff? The familiarity. I know there's a bunch of guys you've known for a long time.
Yeah, I'll reverse order. I'll talk about staff first. Great staff. And, I mean, Rick Croy came from Cal Baptist. He just went to the NCAA tournament. He took that program from being Division II to Division I and then made the NCAA tournament this year. He's really good coach. Glad to have him on the staff. David Patrick, again, two-time head coach, and I think one of the best recruiters in the country. It was at LSU and has Australia ties. But I had coached with both of those guys at St. Mary's, so I knew what they're about. I knew what they could do, and they both jumped in. And then one of my former players, Joe Rayhan, who was one of our top one of our top assistants at St. Mary's, and he played for us, and he's a heck of a young coach. So he was the first guy I asked to say, I think this might happen. Would you like to do it? And he thought about it about 3 seconds.
That's the right guy.
And because he wanted the competition. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Anyhow, and then E.J. Rowland came with us. He was over there. He played for us at St. Mary's and was a really good point guard. And played 20 years in Europe, and so this will be his third year. And he's really good too. So he's got a great way about him. Be good in recruiting, whole deal. And still working on one. So that's the staff. I think I'm real excited about it, those guys. And then player-wise, I can talk about all the guys who turned in their paperwork, and that's 11 of them. I think we have a commitment from a 12th, and we have to get to 14. But we didn't have any when I came here. So, and since the portal, we've in 3 weeks we've been able to get 12 players and excited about them, excited about the terms on which they came here, and I think that's everything. Like, you gotta make good decisions, and you had to, Tim, when you coach, you had to make good decisions on kids.
You had to stack them, right?
Yeah, but you still have to make good decisions, whether they're getting money or not, and they're all getting money now. So you got to be able to manage that, and I think it's all about making good decisions and getting the right guys and the guys that are coming to try and win a championship, not necessarily make the most money that they can make. And there's a healthy balance there, but you can complain about it all you want, whatever, but it's the way that it's going to go now, and I don't think it's going back. I think it's just going to.
Yeah, it doesn't ever go backward.
Getting better for these players.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I don't. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No, sir.
So, anyhow, I'm excited about a lot of them, and I think all of them will be able to return for at least a second year. So, and that's where we need to get. We need to get where you're retaining players. You're not trying to sign 12 or 13 guys in a year. So that's when we'll get good, when we're doing that. And we have guys who've gone through it before in the Big 12 and seen what it's like to play in Kansas or Iowa State or BYU or Arizona. You know the deal. You got to get experience.
Randy Bennett, kind enough to join us, new head coach at Arizona State. And for so many years, we knew what to expect out of St. Mary's teams. You could bring players in and out, but that system was just etched in stone. We knew how you guys were going to play. Now that you go to Arizona State, and especially in this world of the transfer portal where you have to essentially build a team from scratch, do you try to still recruit to your system, or do you adjust your system to the players you can get?
Both. We'll play a certain way, but when it's all said and done, we weren't doing anything tricky. We were making sure it was hard to score on us. We were making sure people didn't get second shots on us, and then trying to make sure we didn't turn the ball over and get good shots. And so most guys can do that if in time, if they'll let you coach them and they want to win, they'll figure it out. The teams that are winning are doing that. So the better players you get, the more possessions you can play, and honestly, the better you'll be able to defend, and the better you'll be on the boards, and those are good players. So we want good players, and then we have to develop them, and they have to let us coach them hard.
So there's probably not a lot of people that know the lineage, but Randy, Coach, you worked for Hank Egan. Was that your first job, working for Coach Egan at San Diego?
It was. It was.
So
in college, I went over there and volunteered my first year.
Exactly. So the great Rick Majerus, like, if he had an idol in the world, it was Hank Egan.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He loved Hank Egan. He'd always talk about him. And in practice from time to time, when things would get frustrating, he's like, I should just go over, I should go over and be the head coach at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
That's what he always used to say. I should just quit all this and go be the head coach at St. Mary's. But you also had a really, really close relationship with Coach Majerus. Talk a little bit about your relationship to him, how you knew him, and maybe something to make somebody laugh here in Salt Lake and remember the big dog.
He's a legend. I think he's as good as anybody that's coached in college basketball.
I agree.
And if you're around him, he lived it. That was his deal. He's a really bright guy, and coached his guys hard, but they loved him, and he's just trying to win. And people are realizing now in Salt Lake, how good he was.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with a guy like John Wooden or Rick Majerus, and I'll throw him in that category. He was such a good coach that he turned Utah in a program in basketball where people thought they were just going to win that league every year. And once Rick left, it didn't happen as much. And some guys have done a really good job there, but what Rick was doing there was incredible. And he was great. He was great. He would always he fell asleep on the phone one time when I was talking to him. And I mean, that's how hard he'd go. He called me to ask him about a recruit. I think it was Shante Johnson or somebody. Anyhow, we're talking about it. And then I answered one of his questions, and then there was no response. Coach. And he said, oh, yeah, sorry about that, Randy.
Faded off.
Fell asleep. I nodded off on you. Anyhow, he's got all sorts of classics, but great guy. It was great to me. Yeah, he respected Hank, because Hank was a coach too with great integrity, and he was great for me. So he's kind of, both those guys are kind of two of my mentors and guys that I got in this business. Well, I got in the business with Hank, but I was around him, and then I got to know Rick because he recruited a couple of my dad's players at Mace Community College. So I got to. That's how the relationship started. I started talking to him on the road about McKay McGrath was the guy.
Oh yeah.
And so I just found him fascinating, and how much he knew about basketball, as you know, Tim. And I think most people in Utah know, especially Wes. So anyhow, thanks for bringing him up.
I do the play-by-play for Utah State, and you were playing a game, and I was talking to the coaching staff before, and they're like, we know what we're going to get. This is going to be a tough team. They're going to rebound well. Every possession is going to count. But we know that our guys are, it's going to be a tough physical game. And how much pride do you take in that, regardless of whatever year you're coaching, whatever guys you have, that everybody's going to recognize your team as being tough, physical, and playing the game the right way?
Yeah, well, if we're not going to win much, so they won't recognize anything. But and I hit it already. Those are things you have to do to win, and especially when on the road, which is tough to do. If you want to win a league title, whether it's WCC or whether it's the Big 12 or whether it's the Big 10, you have to be – you're not going to do it without playing good defense and making tough plays and taking care of the ball and blocking out and rebounding. If you don't do that, you're going to be in trouble, and that will be the case in this league. So, yeah, I hope they see us as that. And if they do, then our guys are doing the right thing.
Well, Coach, I know you probably don't read much. You were a tough nut to crack. It's just getting to know you as a pal. And it's just because I was wearing the wrong logo. But over time we got there. But you are around here. You're kind of a villain. I don't know if you know that. Like, people don't like Randy Bennett. They think he's this guy that just stalks the sidelines and uses his sorcery powers to win games. And so for me, it's important. When I left coaching about 5-6 years ago, that was a big step for me and a really lonely step. And what was crazy to me is the guys who were firmly in my life, like Dave Rose. I talk to those guys all the time, but it was all the ancillary coaches that it's almost like you fell off a cliff. And I got to give you a shout out, Coach. And this hopefully will let people know you're actually human in there. You got a heart. You're not like the Grinch. But Coach literally, with all the stuff he had going on, I don't think he missed much. He hit me nearly every week just to see how I was doing through those rough spots. And I just value that so much, Coach. And we'll do a campaign that, Randy ain't that bad, or he'll kick your tail on the court, but he's a good dude. I mean, something like that. We'll work it in there. But you just
we became friends through the whole process, and you start. I mean, I have a ton of respect for BYU and their program, and Dave and you guys were great. You had the thing rolling too, and so then we became friends, and we're friends. So once that happens, you don't. The wins and losses, they matter, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's the relationships and friendships you form, whether it's with your staff or other players. Like Rick, I never worked for Rick, and you, I never worked with you, and I wish I could have done both, but you guys are great friends. So
well, they're paying me pretty good here,
checking in on me every once in a while.
They're paying me pretty good here, but if you want that last spot, you want to kick that up double. We might have something on our hands. Negotiating war, Coach. So keep me in mind.
Appreciate you.
Wouldn't be cheap. I know that.
I appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks for making time for us, and we look forward to catching up with you down the line.
You guys are great. Good luck with the new show.
Thanks, Coach. Love you, man. I'll be in touch.
There he is, the new head coach at Arizona State, Randy Bennett. And he's just been a fixture for so many years against St. Mary's or with St. Mary's that it just feels weird to reference him in another university.
Was that okay to tell him he's kind of seen as a villain?
I think deep down he likes that.
Okay,
but also, I think he's very well aware of that. But also, I think it's good to know that there is a person behind that veneer.
The guy he spoke of, Rick Croy, in a heated game in Moraga once, we kind of were waiting for something and looking down at each other, and it was one of those, you looking at me, you want to go, it was one of those deals. And now, I know Rick so well, and we just laugh about it, But in the heat of the moment, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
And I sat next to Coach recruiting a couple times, or tried to. And he was really he didn't want to have a relationship with people he's playing. But toward the end, I just kind of broke through, and he came out to recruit some Utah kids. And, we went to lunch, and then he's just been a good dude. So dispel the myth. Colors in the lines, really, really good dude. I get it that he can be frustrating, but he's fighting for his team. But that's what we want to do on this show, is humanize villains.
Yeah, there we go. I had Utah State was playing St. Mary's in Logan, and it was an infamous game where an official made a call late that went against Utah State. It was a tie game. I remember because he took the shot attempt right by me, but Rylan Jones had a good look for three with about 2 or 3 seconds left. It wouldn't drop. And there was a scramble for the loose ball, and they called a foul on Justin Bean with 0.5 left. And Utah State, Gonzaga or St. Mary's was in the double bonus. Kid hits, make 2 free throws, and the game's over. When you kind of thought you had the last shot to win the game. And the place was just irate, and the emotions were high. And I have a mic. You've seen our setup. We have our mic right by kind of the scores table, and to get the crowd noise and everything. And Ryan Odom, who a lot of people think Ryan Odom's just this placid, just, calm guy. He's a fiery son of a gun. And he said something to Randy Bennett, and Randy got upset, and Randy fired back. And I'm catching all of it on this mic that's right there. And I'm trying to turn it down because I don't want to get hit with an FCC violation. And then afterwards, you could see they met in the tunnel and kind of bro hugged it out, and it was fine. But, emotionally in those games, what fans see is, these dudes lay it all out on the line, and there's a lot of emotion out there.
Yeah, I had to survive the Dell of a dagger.
Yeah.
That was a brutal one. But, he hit it best, though. It does not, and we say this with other coaches, it does not matter what jersey or logo you're wearing, because at some point you'll probably be wearing another one or none at all.
Yeah.
So it's really just about that on-the-level relationship, and thanks for Coach. I know he's been not feeling great. He had some heart issues when he first got there. They're getting that figured out, but it was awesome to talk to him.
All right, 1230, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, I got to say that I disagree with Scotty G and the coach, and I also disagree with Tony Jones. I know this isn't what they wanted the voicemails about, but the real GOAT is Wilt Chamberlain. You won't be able to tell me otherwise, but I want to see what they have to say about that. The GOAT isn't LeBron. He's like pretty far down that list, but Kobe Bryant's better than LeBron. But the real GOATs are Michael Jordan, and at the very, 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 very top is Wilt Chamberlain. See what they have to say about that.
I like it. By the way, that's the voicemail function on the KSL Sports app. Thank you, Connor, for chiming in. Hey, and we haven't gone back to this much, but we are curious to know what you are willing to do or willing to give up to ensure that the Utah Jazz get the number one pick. So if the Jazz on Sunday, it's announced that they've moved up in the lottery, they're number one, they'll get A.J. Debinsa, and what are you willing to give up? Lloyd's willing to give up the heaters?
I wish he'd give up sarcasm and depression.
Yes, I'll give up the heaters. That's easy. I can do that. No problem.
But sarcasm and depression, not so much.
No, those are going to be really hard.
No, those are to peel those two away from him. Not depression, but
I was like, wait, what?
Pessimism.
There you go.
That's
Sarcasm and
sarcasm, yes.
Skepticism.
Skepticism. Yes. Peel one of those off.
You're giving up.
Worst.
You're giving up Diet Coke.
It hasn't let you down.
I know. That's kind of who you are now. Just lean into it. That's the thing. When Lloyd started in this business, the most positive person on the planet. When he was interning back in the day at the old 1280.
Well, I mean, I was getting a lot of sandwiches, so yeah, very positive. And other things.
I never made you get dry cleaning.
And other things, I said.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Yeah. Lloyd did make a Subway run or two.
Which I didn't mind because guess what? You bought.
I always bought you one.
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I was fine with it.
It's not like the other guy was getting your dry cleaning done,
No,
too.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. I read you as a seafood and crab guy back in the day.
No. I was...
you didn't go for that imitation? I ate that like it was...
I love that stuff.
I loved it. Some banana peppers.
Yeah, a little pickle.
Pepper.
Heavy pepper.
Heavy pepper.
And no Miracle Whip. It's got to be mayo.
Yeah, if mustard's fine for me. Just throw mustard on that.
Oh, really? Okay. I like it. All right, so now I forgot what were you even talking about? Oh, what you're willing to give up or do for the Jazz to get the number one overall pick. You're giving up Diet Coke. I'm giving up energy drinks.
And those are big deals for us.
Yes, that's a huge deal for us. I've got a fridge downstairs in my house that is chock full of Rockstars.
Think of the money you'd save.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I know that's right, huh?
Or you probably have a sponsorship deal.
No sponsorship. We're certainly open to it. So if you've got something you're willing to give up or do, just go to the KSL Sports app, click on the voicemail function, and Lloyd will play the best ones on the air because the draft lottery coming up on Sunday.
In response to Connor.
We got to get to Connor's stuff here.
So I'm not going to, you and I even talked about this in the interview process. I don't like argumentative radio for the sake of argumentative radio. I think much like quarterback room, I think I heard it again twice today. I go out, get in my car, and I'm hearing somebody talk about somebody's wide receiver room. Can we just call it depth at the wide receiver position for Pete's sake?
I love that we finally found the thing that annoys you.
That annoys me to no end. In fact, we got to honk every time somebody says it. No, not honk because that's already been taken.
Yeah.
But Connor, I saw where Dominique Wilkins had the same thought. Dominique Wilkins actually thought, if you're going to make somebody the GOAT, he's the guy that changed the game. I will say the only reason the way he's on top is because he's the tallest. I think the game has come leaps and bounds, and certainly Wilt was amazing in his time. But that's the beauty of this. I think everybody has their guy, and nobody's ever going to talk anybody into the other. I don't believe.
How about the other mic drop that he had was that LeBron's not even the best Laker.
I like
on that
Kobe
list.
better.
If I had to choose a game to win, they're like, hey, look, it's a game 7. You can pick a player to have on your team of the greats. I will probably go Michael 1, Kobe 2, but they're closer than a lot of people think. Like those two guys just had a certain will to win that others just didn't have.
And did it with a flair.
Yes, yeah.
No, I don't like to watch LeBron play because it's like doing construction. I mean, there's nothing really pretty about it. It's lower your
just
head.
Sheer force.
It's more force. Certainly his skill has gotten better through the years, and he shot the ball. He's a winner. There's no doubt about that. The All-Stars, the accolades, but I just can't tell my heart doesn't feel it for him. I don't watch him and think the way he handles the ball, or like Jordan did things back in the day, just almost the way he'd run and his tongue would be out of his mouth, and he'd release those dunks with his feet kind of. Yeah, to me that was like we've never seen this before.
Yeah. And I don't know if we've seen a player that took more joy in ripping out the hearts of their opponents, not just beating them, but doing the whole Indiana Jones thing, like ripping the heart out, showing it to you while it ignites on fire, and then laughing at you. And that was Michael and Kobe. Like those are the two dudes that you knew took just sheer joy and enjoyment out of making you lose. And losing in the most diabolical fashion possible.
And, each guy, like Kobe, for instance, he was able to play with Shaq. And but everybody, if you look through it, great players are going to play with great players. Jordan played with Pippen. John and Carl played together. So you're going to have great teammates. But the bottom line, and to your point, those guys rise above. They're the alpha. They take it over. And then above all else, they lead the team to winning.
Yeah.
And set the entire table.
Now, LeBron will always have a seat at that table in some way, shape, or form. If nothing else, than overcoming a 3-1 deficit against one of the greatest teams of all time, the Golden State Warriors, where he willed that team to come back.
I'm not down on him.
No, same. But no, he's got a seat at the table. I think there are two guys that are at the head of the table.
I'm going to serve someone else first.
Yes, and there you go. But appreciate the voicemail. Remember, that's the voicemail function on the new KSL Sports app. Just click on that bad boy, and you can interact with the show any way, shape, or form. All right, so NBA playoffs. Earlier in the show, I mentioned the number I have is 19.5, that I'm setting the amount of games Oklahoma City will take to win an NBA title. Coach is going the over. I'm going to take the under. I think they do it in 19 games. Coach, you still think they're going to win, but probably, 20, 21 games?
Yeah, just right over it. It won't be many more. But I just think the Spurs have proven they can really push them. I think the Timberwolves aren't going to win that series. I think they're just – I agree with they're going to run out of gas.
Tony said they're going to run out.
They're going to run out of
I
gas.
can totally see that, too.
Because I can already see it happening.
Their lack of depth to catching up with them.
Yeah, so I think the Spurs will push that thing 6-7, and then – the Knicks, I think Tony's right. I think the Knicks have a lot going for them, that momentum, and certainly that would be a really heavily watched final. I just feel like they'll get pushed enough, but they'll still win. And so, I think they're going to go 20-21.
Yeah.
To do it.
I just wish that there was a little bit more of a thought process that somebody could upset Oklahoma City. They're just playing so much better. But, again, the level of competition really hasn't been there.
But I do like the fact that they're just handling, they don't play with their food. They did, last night got a little interesting, but then it was over before all that started. We didn't talk a lot last night about last night's games with Cleveland and Detroit, but much of the same, right? You saw Donovan had a better game. that game was actually pretty close late, and there was one of the saddest possessions where Harden got isolated out on the left wing and for some reason thought he was still young. And, kind of took a step, got a little off balance, lost the ball. I mean, it was brutal. And Donovan could have moved the ball to Donovan, got through and let Donovan play. But that's why when they said, everybody was excited about Cleveland, they signed Harden now.
No.
That's not good.
And honestly, look, there's so many people that know so much more about basketball than I do, but didn't this seem like it was just inevitable that Harden would, and not necessarily cost them games, but certainly not get them over the hump?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way. In my mind, it was a foiled proposition from the start. I mean, you needed to go out and sign a big, long, active wing that could guard half the floor. That was going to be way more important than a very aged, albeit talented, one-on-one skill player. But you watch defensively, it's Detroit's seeking him out. They're seeking Donovan out. They're still trying to play that style of ball. And in the end, last night, it was physicality once again that won the game.
And I think that's been kind of the recurring theme. Minnesota won their first-round series and will probably give San Antonio some fits throughout the remainder of this series because of their physicality. San Antonio themselves are very physical. Oklahoma City, very physical. They got everybody complaining about the officials. They've got under the Lakers' skin where you've got Austin Reeves losing his mind. You got LeBron there with them going, yeah, you tell him, Austin. You go, you get him. And then you got the head coach going off in the media too. When you start playing that card, it just feels like the series is already lost at that point.
It's kind of a loser mentality, and I'm shocked that the Lakers had as good a season as they did because to me they're a dysfunctional group.
Yeah, I mean Bronny really put that team on his shoulders.
But honestly, this is actually goes back to the GOAT conversation. Like you don't decimate every place that LeBron leaves, it's like the thing gets milked and decimated to darn near nothing. It's him, and he's going to have the ball a lot. And obviously, they made the move for Luka. He's out now, so LeBron's just in his – he can just go try to get 30 every night.
Do you think if LeBron isn't somewhat on a retirement tour that Luka would be playing? I think Luka could play if he wanted to.
You think he could?
I think he could. And I think he's like, look, you know what? What a great way to set the table for me next year. Have LeBron and his boy fizzle out in the playoffs, get manhandled, and then I show up and I take us to the Western Conference Finals or whatever the case might be. I don't think, well, I don't know if he's that diabolical, but I could certainly think that.
I wouldn't put he's pretty diabolical on the court.
Yeah,
he does some crazy stuff, so you wouldn't know. But it's the end of an era, and it's like Tony said, it's the face of a new NBA. All these guys we just talked about, Harden, LeBron, these guys have been dominating it for so long, and now you got Wemby and Shea's obviously doing what he's doing, and so it's one of the. It almost feels like one of those changing of the guard moments.
And so you got two games coming up later on tonight in the NBA. And so you do have another game between the Knicks and the 76ers and the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Coach and I will give you our thoughts on how those games play out later on tonight. Also, coming up in about 15 minutes from now, the great Craig Bullerjack will come and hang out with us in studio. And should we do this next, or should we wait for Buller to do the Tankathon?
Let's do it with him here.
Okay. So we'll do the Tankathon coming up at 1:30, and maybe we'll see if Buller can provide a little good luck in our final edition of the Tankathon, where we find out exactly where a random internet, I don't even know what to call it. Site, random website. Coach will hit the button. We'll find out exactly where the Utah Jazz will be picking. So we've had them at 2, and yesterday they were at 7.
2 and 7. So we'll see what today is. I just did a little test here. I won't reveal, but, man, that would be good. All right, hit reset. Make sure the balls are in the right containers, and we'll wait for Bowler to come in and oversee the drawing.
Yes, he's the Ernst & Young of this thing, making sure everything's on the
Bowler and Bowler.
Yeah. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Great song.
This is Wigan. Check out Soul Hat. They're going to be that's a band you like. There's not a ton of listeners. They're band that was really popular in the 90s in Austin. They're kind of getting together and playing some more now. Great stuff. Fast stuff, slow stuff, funky stuff, vibey stuff.
So I drive Brody to school in the mornings. He's got like early morning football practice, and he'll always kind of pick the music. Usually it's like, I don't want to listen to anything, I'm tired. But he actually said the other day, it was like, what's that one band the coach told you to listen to? I'm like, the Mother Hips? And he's like, yeah, let's listen to that. So there you go.
And you dug it.
You've converted two of us now.
It's good. We should have gone and seen the show, but next time.
I can't
you didn't trust me. No, you just didn't trust me.
No, that was no.
You're like,
no.
I'm not going to go sit with this guy. You didn't trust me yet, but you will.
I trust you. It's just I think I had
other obligations.
Something suddenly came up. I can't remember what it was.
Okay, hold on. George Glass.
All right. By the way, Ryan Smith on his Twitter account, and I'm sure Instagram and everything, kind of gives some more detailed plans on what the arena will be going through this upcoming summer and then the following summer as well. And so the lower bowl is all done. If you've been to a Jazz game or a Mammoth game, you've seen that lower bowl where all the sight lines are where it needs to be. Now the focus is on the upper bowl. They're going to do the south side this summer and then the north side next summer. But what you're going to see is some really cool things like a gondola on the side with some seats that nobody really does anywhere. Then you're going to do then it's going to be very tiered here on the south side as well. So several different tiers going up. It kind of has like a concert house feel to it.
That looks amazing. Absolutely. And sightlines obviously have been a little bit of an issue. First year, this year's been better. But, man, they're going to put the whole thing together and do one end one year and the other the next.
And then on the north end, and the reason they wanted this, and I know this doesn't make for great radio, but essentially you've got heavy tiers on the south side and very little, if any, of that on the south side, or north side, excuse me, because that's where the visitors are, whether it's a visiting bench in the NBA or in hockey, and they want that to be the rowdy part of the arena where people are just loud and it's just barreling down on top of the visiting opponents.
I love that. That's great. Very, very well thought out. If you watch the way things have been done, they tend to do great research and they get it exactly the way they want it.
Yeah. So it's going to have a really interesting feel when you're back in there coming up in late September or October. It's going to have a much different feel on one side, and then the next side is right there behind it. So I'm fired up, man. I love what they're doing. The parking structure also is expected to be done before the start of next season.
That's right. So hopefully,
You've already got prime parking. I know Lloyd is annoyed by your parking.
I park on the curb, but hopefully I can park in that big bad boy.
I wonder if that thing will be big enough to hold the RV. If Locke can park that in the parking structure.
Just ripping the top off it, taking the first corner.
Oh, I love it. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Like a shaved top.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome.
Just metal.
Accordion right there on the top, just ripped off. All right, Craig Bullerjack joins us next in studio. That's right, the great Craig Bullerjack joins us next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.